You gotta have your coffee. That's what it is. Do you never feel like your teeth get stained because of coffee?
No, because I don't have like really dark coffee.
Are you good like at brushing your teeth like twice a day? And
I brush my teeth twice a day. I floss twice a day too, because I have actually big gums.
Nice.
So I had to get my gums scraped once, like shaved off. But they keep growing back.
Crazy.
It was painful.
I see. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode. I believe episode 12 of the
I know, right?
podcast.
I have no clue what episode we're on.
I think we're on episode 12.
Wow. Honestly, though, when did we start?
I think we started early last year. No, January. No.
That long ago? No.
No.
Maybe. I have no idea at this point. I feel like we should have more episodes.
I don't know. I'm not sure to tell you the truth. We took a little hiatus.
I
think we missed like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we did miss a couple of them. So, yeah.
It is really hot today. I made I'm going to say it's a mistake of saying to put up the garage door. And it's pretty hot.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was in here too, and it was at least there was no light coming in, but now there's a lot of light, I feel. But and I'm a big sweater, so I'd be sweating a lot.
Ooh, it is.
I feel bad for you because you're looking all fly.
I'm looking bougie. No, I don't know.
No fly?
Let's stop. Like, I dress like this all the time. So I'm not going to take that as a compliment, okay?
So
like I just look like this. Well, yes, thank you. But that's it. It's nothing. I don't feel like this is anything special. So, like, if I go anywhere on the weekends, this is what I look like.
Yeah, if you see or follow Susie's, like, Instagram, you would be like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy. And then they were making fun of her because they're in one of the gym classes because she has no, like, in-between. She is either 0 or 100. So I
need in-between clothes. And if someone could help me with that, because I don't have, like, clothes where it's like, oh, I'm just going to the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon with nothing else to do today.
You know what I feel her middle is? Your coaching stuff.
Probably that would be my middle, but yes, I guess that would be my middle. Otherwise, it's like this or some variation of this, or I look homeless.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said in the class. Like,
I do. No,
and you're homeless, or you look like you're on the red carpet.
I'm 100% homeless looking, and I'm about that look. So, like, when Victoria's Secret Pink, what was it, like 12 years ago, 10 years ago, first came out with the pink line, and everybody was all about baggy pants, baggy sweats and tucked Uggs into the boots and the oversized. I feel like they ripped that look off me. Because it's like clothes that don't match. Like, it's just loose. Like, I felt like they totally, and then there I was buying $60 worth of sweats for one pair when I had been dressing like that since 1983. Because my mom's very similar. My mom's like, I guess that's where I get it from. She's like extra, or she's homeless, and then that's it.
Nice. And I think so. I had an idea too of starting something for our Instagram stories as like the fit of the day or the fit of the. So I'm gonna take a picture of you and kind of just like
nice.
you like maybe like do like we tag where you got these things at. You know what I mean?
Fun.
So I was thinking about something like that because she always has really cool.
Fun.
She always has like these really cool outfits and like sometimes people be asking about her shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So so where you can find her fits and stuff.
I have 2 necklaces on. I will say that. So this necklace that I have, it's like an infinity. It's not an infinity. It's 2 circles interlocked, and I guess the meaning is strength. And the Wolfpack girls got it for me last year for my birthday, so I've had it for almost a year. I've only not had it on like a handful of days. They got it for me because I was going through a rough time last summer. And they got it for me for my birthday, so
it's
I thought
cool
that was so
because
nice.
you can't probably see it, but it's
2
like
circles.
It's one's really big and one's smaller.
Yeah,
right?
so it signifies strength. And I have this red Huichol necklace. So, again, Huichol are my people. And it's bright red. So Huichol is an indigenous, I'm not going to say tribe, they're an indigenous nation from the area where George and I are from. And unfortunately, due to the pandemic, I won't be seeing my friend Lorenzo, who usually comes to the Taste of Merle's Park.
Who we've talked about
before. But he gave me this necklace last year for my birthday.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
I hope his wife doesn't find out because, actually, funny story. So when he's been coming, it's been like 7 years. So like we formed a friendship. Like his first year, I told you he really couldn't speak Spanish at all, and he was just kind of like motioning like $10 or whatever. And the following year, he got better and better, and he like now he's like really good at speaking Spanish because a lot of people don't know in Mexico, Spanish is not the only language spoken. Obviously, English. But there are 68 indigenous languages spoken, and they're not. Everybody's always like, oh, they're dialects. They are not dialects. They are full languages where, like, what Lorenzo speaks would be different from another group in northern Mexico or, like, the middle of Mexico. Like, everyone has their own entire language. So if there's 68 languages that are still survived in Mexico today. I wish I could learn. Unfortunately, there's not like school, you know what I mean? It's difficult to teach languages like that. There is like, you can learn how to speak Nahuatl, right? But that would be like what we classify Aztecs as. That was their language. But that's more like southeast, right? Mexico, not the whole thing. So, yeah, so he's gotten better and better. But anyway, whenever we go, like we take a selfie or a picture or whatever,
okay, nice.
you know, whatever. And maybe a few years ago, I hope he never sees this, and he wouldn't understand anyway, but still, I hope he never sees this. Maybe like 4 years ago, and it's so funny, I think about this all the time. Like 4 years ago, we took a selfie, you know, whatever. And like, usually like, I would post a picture, you know, to show support. Like, oh, my friend Lorenzo, he's a Huichol. He comes every year. I bought this piece from him because when people are selling you stuff from any sort of indigenous group in North America, Central America, South America, please do not barter with them. It takes them days, weeks sometimes to make these pieces. And while the actual material may not be expensive, it is their time and it takes a lot of hard work to come up with the designs, and it's their creativity. Like, I wouldn't want someone to barter with George for his services because it's his art, it's his creativity. This is for them, and they're sustaining themselves just like anyone else. It's their business. Anyhow, so I would do that for him. And then one time, when he got back to Mexico, I was tagged in the picture, and I was like, oh, nice, you know, whatever. And then in the comments later on, his wife was like, oh, like you post pictures with her.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no, it was. She's like, oh, you post pictures with her. She's like, you're supposedly over there working. I was like,
oh my God, no
He's
way.
like, she's just a friend. I mean, it was awful because it was like on there for people to see. And he's like, she's just a friend. I see her once a year when I go. And she's like, oh yeah, just a friend. But you know, whenever I ask to take pictures, like, you know,
that's crazy, dude.
oh my God, I sent that to my sisters, and it was hilarious for us, but at the same time, it was so like, we felt so. I felt bad.
Yeah,
you know, I didn't want that smoke. I did not want that
that's
smoke.
crazy. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so funny. So yeah, he gave me this last year for his birthday, and I bought a really beautiful piece that I wore last week, actually, another family party.
Nice.
That I wanted so much, and this for my birthday.
So tell us, why are you looking
like this?
So, yeah, like that. Because you're at 100 right now. You're not at 0.
I have brunch today. It's Sunday, and I'm going to brunch. I have a couple of errands to run today. So I normally wouldn't be dressed like this. My niece, I don't know. I've mentioned this to OCF people before that, like, if possible, I will sleep in and not do anything if I don't have to. So my family already knows, like, to bring me coffee on weekends. I know that sounds really spoiled.
Super spoiled.
But I'm the youngest, and I know I've mentioned it before where I'm like, you know, I'll text people like, oh, are you out? Like, can you bring me coffee? And if they don't, then I do turn it up to brat level. Like, okay, you know what? Forget it. Never mind. Like, I just will never ask you for anything.
Oh, jeez.
So my niece brought me coffee this morning. Here it is. But so usually I would not be dressed like this for errands, but I have brunch later with Sam, and I knew I had the podcast today, and in between I have some stuff. So it's just unfortunate that in between I'm going to look like this when I'm like getting carnitas for my mom and
That's hilarious.
getting gas and buying water for the week and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm just dressed like this. This is a normal outfit. Actually, I'm going to tell you, I've had this skirt for a long time. 15 years maybe. It's from Old Navy.
Oh, wow.
My top is from Victoria's Secret. And my shoes, I don't know. They're just like little slip-on sandals. Oh, Target. There we go. I remember.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
So we'll put that up and we'll post it. We'll take a little quick picture and we'll set it up. So Susie came in kind of ready to talk about something, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to save it for the podcast. And so we really don't have like a crazy topic outline that we usually do and talk about.
We've talked about very serious topics the last couple of weeks. And I don't want to brush them away, or they're not going anywhere. It's part of who George and I are. Mm-hmm. But we're multifaceted people. We go through seasons of life. And how I tell people, it's so crazy because I used to feel, and then I was telling people maybe last year around the fall time, so last summer I had a breakup, and it was horrific, but it was one of those things that actually propelled me to do so much soul searching and all that stuff. But people don't like to feel pain. I'm one of those people, but pain is growth.
Yep.
But after that initial explosion, bomb, pain in the fall, I was doing so much learning. I would say probably from August, a year from last year, a year from today, till about February or so, I was just sticking to learning about everything. I've never felt like I was out of touch with my roots, but I got more into my roots by learning more about Mexican herbal medicine, about Mexican chanting, Mexican indigenous movement. I went to a couple of what would be considered Aztec movement or breathwork seminars. I've learned about, just all these little things, but I was also learning a lot about fitness. I got during those 6 months time, I want to say 5 certifications, something like that. And if you've ever taken a certification, they take a long time, whether they're in person or online. So it took a lot of I felt like I was planting seeds.
Right. Okay.
Right. So that was even though it was the fall time, it was I was planting seeds, and I was just man, I honestly, towards the end of that, December, January, I'm just planting these seeds. And I was talking to the guy that did the Mexican breathwork class. I was just I just feel like I'm planting all these seeds. When do I get the freaking harvest? And he's okay, you're planting all these seeds right now, but before the harvest, the things have to sprout, the things have to bloom, the things have to be in full bloom before you're able to harvest them.
Yeah, there's multiple levels of
so then the whole gym thing came about, so right now I'm in spring, stuff's blooming. And so whenever I feel lost, because there are times when I do feel lost, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. A lot of members left during COVID, not because of loss of jobs. I would say that maybe a handful of people left because they lost their job. Everyone else left either because they were no longer interested. They probably did some soul searching during that time and realized that maybe fitness is not important to them, and that's fine because that's their season of life. People also left just because they were angry. Right now, during quarantine, I feel that we were also forced to do a lot of self-care. Mm-hmm. And we were forced to stay in stillness for a long time. Yeah. And I love that. I felt that it really correlated with me planting my seeds, because what happens when you plant the seeds? You can't be there looking okay, hurry up and come out. You kind of just have to be still and wait. And I feel that was a perfect segue for me. And so I really thrived during quarantine. And a lot of people were oh, are you gonna, because I usually tend to make myself super busy. They're are you gonna learn another language? How many books are you reading? And I did do a little bit of that stuff because I enjoyed it, not because I felt I had to compete with everyone who was being super productive during that time. I really took the opportunity to be still with myself. And so if people don't know how to be still with themselves, that was a really hard time for them. And they were looking for any sort of target to, that's why I honestly feel all these people that are Karens right now, or maybe they've always been Karens and now they're being extra Karen-y or whatever. It's because we're still not at 100%. We're probably like at a good 40% to what our livelihoods were before, like being busy and going out and doing, our activities and taking the kids to games. Like we're out at 40%. I wouldn't say not even 50%, right? George, do you agree?
I would say that.
And so I feel that we disguise ourselves so often with being busy that we don't know we need the stillness, and we don't know that there are a lot of things that maybe we're lacking or that we need for ourselves in life. And it's hard. So I feel that that's why there's like attack of the Karens right now, because I don't think they know how to do that. And I think that right now they need to channel their stuff to something, their energy to something. And unfortunately it's negative. They're channeling into a negative way and just like throwing and bashing and, atomic bombing and all that with their words and their actions. Which the governor actually signed there's like a law. There's an ordinance, basically, like you cannot attack retail workers because you're not wearing a mask. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, that's like, that should be like.
When I heard what it was, because unfortunately I'm working during the time he was making his announcement, I'm like, is this literally a law against Karens? Or, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's just basic common sense that you're not supposed to attack people. But basically, he emphasized the fact that you need to wear a mask when you're out. And if you're not happy with someone telling you to in their business to wear a mask, you can't attack them.
That's
right?
Ridiculous.
So
it's crazy.
So during that stillness, and me doing very well during that time, and now stuff's blooming. People left, and I kind of had to rebuild and make this my own, which Andrew and I had talked about it many times, and he told me people are going to leave, and some of them you're going to be surprised at. And I was. And every time I would text him or call him, he'd be like, and you're still surprised? He's like, I told you not to be surprised, because some people were surprising. Some people were surprising, and some stuff that people did was surprising. So, I'm in bloom now. All those people are gone, and now we're getting people back in, and now I'm making the gym very much me, and the workouts me, and the community me, and all that stuff. So now I'm in bloom, okay? Right now that I'm in bloom, a lot of the previous shadows of myself are coming back out. Don't forget, George and I are woo. So right now I'm speaking very woo, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of the shadows that I have are coming back out, and I feel that it's normal because it's spring. What's there in spring? Like showers and thunderstorms, because you can't get the blooms without the rain, And so a lot of the Susie that's ghetto and ready to fight, the little girl that feels like she needs to defend something is here right now. And right now the anger's at a specific person, okay? So I don't even think I've told you this.
You have not. So this is breaking.
So my my dad, who passed away, actually was his birthday yesterday. It's pretty sad. It would have been his birthday yesterday. He had a lot of kids. We've kind of grazed over that subject.
A little bit.
So my dad was older than my mom, 15 years. My mom will tell you herself, she had a lot of suitors, okay? But my mom was interested in studying, so she was in law school. And which was really awesome, considering she's literally a farmer's daughter. My grandpa was a bracero, so he would come during seasons and sometimes stay for a year or so working in California, So and they tended to land in Mexico and all that stuff, and but my grandparents were very big on education, so most of them did get an education. And so my mom was fortunate enough to get a job as what would be considered the equivalent here as a paralegal.
Okay.
She would help in the basically state's attorney's office, right? What's the state's attorney's office there? And look through all the cases. They would review like data and evidence and all that stuff. And so she was very interested in studying. And then my dad, who had 15 years on her and already was speculated to have a couple of kids in Mexico, had gone to Alaska and spent some time there. And then, you know, never any secrets. He was very open that he left a family that he made in Alaska. And so, like, everyone always knew that. And then he came back and he, like, met my mom. And he was, like, basically determined he was not going to not marry her. And he had never been married. So he was like a catch, you know, like really weird. Like, you know, you're a catch if you've never been married. He had kids, but he had never been married or wasn't linked with the moms anymore. And
that's weird.
He had money because he had been in Alaska. Like, he made good money from starting the pipeline and all that stuff, or the preparation for the pipeline and everything. So he had a car from the United States. All that weird stuff, you know, that makes you, I guess, important in those early 70s, you know, late 60s. So my parents got married and then moved to Merle's Park, and like literally we have all been here this whole time. My dad moved here to work in the Zenith factory. It was on 25th and North, basically across the street from like that whole plaza where Starbucks is and all that. Okay, so that's where the Zenith plant was. Zenith was like, if you don't know, electronics company, like TVs.
Dude, my mom worked there.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's so nuts.
Yeah, my mom worked there.
Oh, no way. My dad moved here to work there.
No shit,
Yeah.
dude. My mom worked there, and that's where she met her best friend, my grandma.
No.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that like that was the purpose. I'm not sure how he knew about the job or like who told him to come. But it's like they got married, and it's like, okay, we have to go to Melrose Park, Illinois. It's not like we're going to go to Chicago. It was Melrose Park, Illinois, because he was going to work there.
Right.
That's so nuts.
No, yeah, we lived in Chicago. Well, we lived in Chicago, and then.
And she would drive.
And she would drive, but yeah, it was.
Oh,
I would
that's
always
so
remember
fun.
that drive because we'd wake up really early. It's like sometimes my brother would wake up early to drop her off, and like I would
That
just remember.
sucks.
Like I'd always remember the 25th.
That 25th,
Like,
yeah,
I just for
because the
some reason-
bridge.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just always remembered
That's
it.
so funny. Oh my God, we
Yeah.
were meant to be friends. How
That's
weird
crazy.
is that? How weird. You are meant to be with certain people, though. Okay. Anyhow, or have them in your life. And so, yeah, he lived here. Basically, he died in Merrill's Park, Illinois.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, we've been here this whole time. Anyway, after they got divorced, he continued to have more children and like more children and more children. From what we are aware of, and it's probably true, the last child he had is 20 years younger than I am.
Wow.
And I saw him as a little kid and his siblings, which are my sisters, and whatever. We were just not fans of this woman, and she got with my dad at his last stage, like before he got dementia. Like he, you know, when you're lonely for company and for companionship and for someone to be there, he was no longer like the big rooster. Like now he was just like looking for someone to hang out. This woman's 4 years older than I am, and my dad is 50 years older than me. So there, go ahead and do the math. Gross. Really disgusting. And so after whatever, she went back to Mexico, and she would always ask my dad for money. She somehow got like my dad's signature. She sold my grandparents' ranch, like all this stuff.
Holy crap.
But anyhow, since my dad passed, these kids came back into our lives, and it's not their fault. The way I see any child that's a Castro, we are victims of my dad's negligence and, you know, the overall Mexican idea of macho and patriarchy, where you think like, I make kids. Like, you don't really think in those days that you have to raise them and take care of them and all that stuff. So my little brother's here, the youngest one. He's here. No one knew he was coming. He's staying with, I have no idea who, but he's actually very close to my house. And so now my anger is towards this lady, because I just want to know where in her mind is the common sense of sending a 16-year-old kid, like he's a citizen, but like why are you sending him here?
But from where?
He's a citizen here, and she sent him from Wehukia, which is my dad's town, which is an hour and a half north of where we're from.
Okay.
So it's still Jalisco. It's still all that same. If someone gets arrested in Wehukia, you would go to Codotlan, where we're from. I just want to like, what the heck is he doing here? Because like he has no idea, honestly. Like he's just like, I think I'm gonna go to school. There's no school, right? And then like there's still a pandemic.
It's a terrible time. Yeah.
Terrible time. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as health and safety, you're, for like pandemic reasons, you're safer there than here.
Very. Yep.
And so I'm just assuming this lady thinks I am dumb and that my family is dumb and that we don't know what she's doing. She sent him here so essentially like we can take him on, which he's my brother, and for sure I don't deny that he is. But we're just at a stage in life where it's like I'm not getting punked by anyone anymore. And unfortunately, like in the middle is this, he's a kid. He's younger than my children.
Yeah, damn.
So it's just a complicated thing. So I didn't realize he was here until he told me he was here. He had been here a week. So now it's been like a month that he's here. And this time he has 3 jobs, okay? And this whole time. So people that say they can't find work, lies. He's working 3 jobs, this 16-year-old kid. Okay, he is doing landscaping during the week. He works at a place. By coincidence, he ended up at a place where my daughter's working that sells like fast food on Mannheim, like beefs and hot dogs and that type of place. Ariston, I don't know if you've seen it. I've never eaten from there. And he works with our other half brother who has his own landscaping business, and he works with him on the weekends. So like for anyone that says they can't find a job, lies, because this 16-year-old kid has 3. Okay. And he rides his bike to most of them. Okay. A bike, who knows how he got it. But anyhow, so I was so shocked and confused as to why he was here and why anyone would send him here during this time, or what the plan was and what is the purpose, right? And she has really no answers, okay? And so she had friend requested my sisters, and I even told my sister, like, if you accept this woman, like, never talk to me again. Like, that's where I'm at in this season of my life. And then she friend requested me. I'm not accepting her. She started Facebook liking a lot of my stuff from another account, like a little girl account. Like a fake account.
That's weird.
And then she sends me a message. She's like, hey, this kid's name is Alberto, like my brother, like my dad. Like a lot of my brothers, actually. My dad likes 3 names. I'll tell you about them in a few seconds. And she's like, oh, I'm Alberto's mom. He's there living with my friend. He doesn't have any money, and he's hungry. Like, go give him $20. Se lo encargo. Basically saying, like, you're responsible, or keep an eye out for him. And then she did the thumbs up emoji.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I was like, no. Like, I really wish she was in front of my face at that moment. Like, I was like,
terrible. Holy cow.
So, and then obviously my sister was like, don't give him money. But I'm like, he's not the issue. He probably has no idea. The mom's probably like, just go and then ask for money. Or he hasn't asked us for anything. Mm-hmm. But, like, he's probably like, okay, whatever. Like,
yeah, sure.
She's the one with whatever intentions that she has. Okay, so this is just sort of like the storm that's happening as everything else is blooming. It's just this season of this life, and I want everyone to take that into consideration when they're going through times. Like, what season of your life is it? Are you learning a lot? Are you doing a lot? Because then that's more like summer. You're busy. You're harvesting. You're getting. You know what I mean? Like, or is it more a chill time? Because that's like winter, and that's like you just being still. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to think about, like, even they don't correlate with the actual temperature seasons. Like, It's all different for everybody.
Yeah, everyone's cycle is different. Seasons. Yeah.
And they change all the time. It doesn't mean that this is going to be my cycle always. I could have a super long summer. I could have a super long spring. Like, who knows? But right now, she is the storm, like the storm cloud in my winter, in spring, in my bloom. And so I was like, what is he doing here? How long is he going to be here? Who is he staying? Like, I asked her all these questions. It's like, he's staying with my friend. Like, he's going to be there till December. I want him to go to school. And it's just like such very vague answers. But I was like, okay, I don't have time to waste on this, you know. So I've been like meeting with my little brother, you know, whatever, including him and all that stuff. And so yesterday she sends me a message. Again, I had already seen my little brother, by the way. I took him to Chick-fil-A yesterday. I took him to Chick-fil-A because I was like, you know, it'd be nice. Like, he gets bored. He has no friends. He doesn't speak English. He, you know, he's living in a stranger's house. Oh, you know, so many things. Like, just imagine that for a second. Like, just like seriously imagine that, okay? Like, his fun at my dad's town, because, I always say this as like an anecdote. Like, I would like text him on Sundays, like, hey, what are you doing? You know, whatever. And he'd be like, or what are your plans for today? Because, like, obviously I'm going to brunch if it's Sunday, you know? And he'd be like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to cut some cactus and then we're going to peel them and maybe go to the river. And I'd be like, oh, well, I'm going to brunch. I'll talk to you.
And this is why when he lived over there.
Yes, this is when he lived over there. So it's not like he also has any other, like, hobbies. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he knows, like, oh, I like Game of Thrones or whatever. I like Fortnite or whatever. Like, you don't do that in these small towns, right. You know? It's so funny. But anyway, she sends me a message yesterday. I had already just dropped off my little brother, basically. She didn't know. She's like, I can't get a hold of Junior. I think his phone is broken. And where he's living, it's a horrible place. They're just like yelling at him all the time and they're treating him horribly. And just like all this nonsense, they're treating him horribly. And I don't know if he's even like eating and like la 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 la. Just like, you know, keep an eye out for him. If that's the possibility when you send your child with a stranger.
Yeah.
So I flipped. I'm like, what was the purpose of him coming? Yeah. What are your ulterior motives? And I'm obviously going to look out for him, but at the same time, like, what was the purpose? And she was like, well, I had him in school here. I wanted him to go study. It wasn't my idea for him to go. No, whose was it then? Am I an idiot? So that's what's going on in Susie's weird life, because I always have weird things going on like this because of the fact that my dad had so many children. There's always something like this. So, yeah, that's a little bit of what's going on.
That is crazy.
So I just, you know, I realized that last night because I got angry. I'm like, you know, I've done so much work on myself where this should not anger me so much because this is not me. This is her. And the only thing I can control is how I treat my little brother and how I react to her and what she's saying. But then I'm like, no, because it makes sense. Everything's blooming right now. The gym's growing. I'm getting a bunch of new members. We are getting the clientele and the members that George and I and the team discussed that we want to help, because at the base of this place, it's about relationships and the fact that we are here to serve people. And so the people that want to serve are people that need to be healthier, and that's the point, okay? I'm not about, you know, I would love to get athletes in here and, like, at some point have them compete and all that stuff, but I think that right now the world is calling for us to learn how to take care of ourselves, and the people that I want to take care of are the people that we're getting in here. And so with everything going well and blooming, I have to have this.
Yeah, I think that's just how everything goes.
And you just have to remember that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, when you think, like, everything's going great, and then this, you have to think about, like, okay, where am I right now in my life?
Yeah. And I think the beautiful thing, too, is that you are self-aware of that. Because what a lot of people would do is they would...
forget it. This sucks.
Yeah, yes.
Nothing goes right. So when one thing goes right, everything goes wrong. Yeah.
They would forget the blooming, that you're in bloom.
Yeah.
So, but you need that water to be able to grow more.
Yeah.
And I think like you said, what a lot of people do is they see the ending and they're just like, you know what, it's just not supposed to work out. It's not supposed I'm just supposed to be doomed.
Exactly.
And I think that's really cool that you know that you need that, because it probably just means that it's making you stronger in some sense, or for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's and you needed that. And I think and it's funny because when you said you were planting those seeds, is that it was just preparing you for that. You know what I mean? And just so you know that, and then all that work of you planting seeds, knowing that I'm not gonna let something ruin what I planted and what I'm growing here. And it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool that, because like sometimes I hit that part, like you're doing so good, you're blooming, and then like you just know something's gonna come. You know,
you're like,
just
what's
know, like,
gonna go wrong?
Happening, like something. There's gonna be a wrench thrown into my game. But yeah, so dude, there's a lot to dissect there.
Yeah,
there's like a lot going on there. One thing is, so like now that we're older, but like I had stepsisters too. But like when we were younger, we like hated each other.
Really?
Yeah, and I think because their mom hated me, because I would go sleep over their house and stuff like that, and I think
like with your dad.
Yeah, like but my grandma would force my father. Like force my
that's
father,
awful.
like yo, you have another child, you know, you should go. And he would do that, and then like I'd feel forced in their house, and I didn't understand.
You felt like
that.
an arrimado.
Yeah. So and I didn't understand that because I was young, and I'm with my dad, and blah blah blah. I'm with his sister. But like once you got older, then you start to figure it out, and you're just like, what the hell? But it brings me to that question of like, how have you, like, are all your siblings like that? Like, are like pretty open to that? Because like, I don't know how I'd feel if like somebody came to me like, hey, yo, I'm your sister, or like I'm your like.
So this is interesting. I think my oldest half brother, which I'll mention him a lot, and we spend a lot of time with him. His name is so the three names that my dad likes. Okay, my dad's name was Alberto, and my dad's dad was named Jose, and my dad's mom was named Carmen, and so my Alaskan brother, his name is Mark Albert. And my sister's named Mary. And then my sister, one of my sisters from my mom, her name is Carmen, like my grandma, Carmen Castro. And my brother is Jose Pepe. You guys probably met him, named after my grandpa. And Jose Alberto is the in-between Alaska and my mom. And, we're all generally close. And then these new kids, we have another Carmen Castro. And then we have Alberto. And I have two sisters named Myra, and I want to say that Mary from Alaska is just a variation of Myra to my dad. I don't know, my dad.
That's so crazy.
But anyway, thankfully I'm named after my mom's side. But so my mom, because Jose Alberto moved here when I was a little girl, because he was from Mexico. My mom never was like, oh, your dad's son. And my mom never did that. So I was very fortunate that my mom was never like, hate him because he's not one of us, or you know what I mean? Because there are women that do that.
Right, like
like your stepmom, and never did she say anything like that. And then later when we found out we had more siblings, my mom was never like, oh, don't talk to them, or whatever. My mom was just like, they're just victims like everyone else. And so we're all open because it's a very special thing to be a Castro. And I mention that often.
You always say that, yeah.
I do mention that often. There's a camaraderie that I cannot even explain. And I honestly just feel it's like the fact that you're proud to be a Castro, and the fact that we all love our dad, and we have like varying, we all got a different part of my dad, right? That we grew to love. So like, but at the same time, we all face the same hurt of him not being there at times when we needed him. So as Castros, like, and when I talk to people like, oh, sometimes my sisters fight, or I'll fight with my sisters, and I hear about people that just like never talk to their siblings because they got into a fight once or something like that. Like, we're not like that because of that bond. Okay. Because that at the end of the day unites us. And we don't even include our kids in this. Like, they're not Castros. Like, they don't know to be my dad's daughter or my dad's son. So it's a very special thing. So none of us are like, oh, we're more important, or oh no, you're from the new mom. Yeah, no.
See, and I think that when you have those stepbrothers, stepsisters, you have that a lot.
Yeah.
And
for sure. We don't have that experience. We include him. He came to a family party last week. some of my aunts, which I remember the whole colorism thing, you know, they're also very into the Mexican patriarchy, where it's like the nuclear family is the married family. So to them, the only kids that count are us four, Claudia, Carmen, Pepe, and myself, because my dad was married to my mom.
Right, okay.
To them, in their mind, they'll talk to these other kids, but the kids that matter, the kids that are my dad's kids, are us.
No shit.
And that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it's 2020. Like, they're my brothers, they're my sisters. Like, get on with your lives. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're not fond of like single moms, which I also am, and all that stuff. They're very into the Mexican nuclear patriarchal family, and so it would probably be easy for us to act like that, but my mom never saw it that way, so I think that was easy for us too. And like I mentioned, we have that strong bond because we exist for my dad. And so at this family party, when they were like looking at my little brother, like, I made sure to know, like, he is my brother. I took pictures with him. I made sure that he was eating. I served him food. I made sure he like hung out with my kids, like all that stuff, because I don't want him or anyone else to get the impression that we're not united. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh man, that's really cool. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that from my realm and from my eyes, because I mean, I don't know if this is big in just Mexican families, but like, I mean, my fucking uncles, they have kids with multiple different women. Like a lot of my uncles, there's only one uncle where I know where he has a lot of kids with one woman. You know what I mean? And then but
the rest are with a lot of other women.
And that's like, and that's all I've seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all I've been to know. So like, it's weird to like see my cousins that are underneath that be with one woman and just, you know.
It's so weird, right?
Because we're breaking that tradition.
100%. Like, yeah, when I grew up, same thing. Like, you would hear about like your neighbor that, oh, he has a wife here and in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like that was very common too. Like, we knew a lot of people like that.
Right.
They'd have like a whole family here with a house and 4 kids, and another 4 kids in Mexico with their other wife. Yeah. Like, you would hear about that a lot. And you know, like for my brother to have his 2 kids from his first wife and then not have any more kids before or after that, because A, you want to be able to support them.
Yes.
And B, like, it doesn't, I think we're breaking that barrier where it's like having all these kids does not make you a man.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually being there as a father that makes you a man.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting because like, it's cool to see that you're doing that with your brother, Alberto. And because like at our family parties, like you'd had to be like, yo, who's going, you know?
Oh,
like,
wow.
You know, you'd like, who's going to be there? You know, which wife is going to be there? You know, which girlfriend is going to be there? So
Jeez,
like,
that's
the
awful.
thing that sucks is like, if my dad was, because we're really, so all my mom's side family is in Mexico, but my dad's family's here. But like I said, my mom's best friend
Is your dad's mom.
Yeah,
right?
my dad's mom. And, but they love my mom.
Yeah.
Like, and my mom grew up with my grandma, like, and they like, you know, shit like that. So they would always want my mom to come to the family parties.
And not the stepmom.
But my dad would always come, and my mom was always one of those, like, I'm not going to go and like do Fuchi faces.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. My mom's the same.
Or put myself on that. So she always would send me and my sister. And even though my sister's not part of my dad, she's my grandma's
goddaughter, right?
Goddaughter, yes. And it's like, it was just kind of like intermingled, you know what I mean? Like, even my brothers that are not part of my dad call her grandma, you know what I mean? So like, they would go visit her and do this. So like, it was pretty interesting to not see that within your family, you know, like, and like how you guys are so open, you know? And it's nice that, well, Susie's fucking family's fucking woke.
Seriously.
They're woke, you know what I mean? So like, it's
not to say there's not times when we're like, more, you know what I mean? Or, you know, like, for example, when my sister Myra appeared, we always knew she existed. She's a couple years younger than I am, like 4 years younger than I am. My mom had just gotten sick. My mom had a double eye stroke, which took all of her vision from one of her eyes and left very little vision on the other. And she already had glaucoma, so she already didn't have vision peripherally, so on the sides. And then there was like, my mom's been very independent always. Like, she's done everything for herself and for everyone else. So during that time, it was tough. Like, she had to realize, like, she could not get around like before. She could not like watch TV and read her magazines and her books. Like it was like a really rough time. And so my sister Myra appeared actually during that time. And during that time, my other sister was very excited. Like, Myra, like, we finally know where she is and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't have time for that right now. I didn't, because I don't like doing stuff where I'm not going to give, like, my all, and where maybe I'm going to seem disinterested or not be respectful or whatever. And I wasn't blaming her, but I was just like, I don't have the time right now. Like, I was still in college. You know, my girls were small, and then, like, we were trying to figure out, like, what a magnifying glass help my mom. Like, we were doing all these things, you know what I mean? So I was just like, I don't have the time right now. But coincidentally, like, she was at here as a member at the gym for, like, a couple of months. And so I was able to have that opportunity to, like, unite with her and, like, form a bond then when all that overall shock of my mom losing her vision came about. So... But yeah, at that time, that was probably the only time where I'm like, I don't have the time right now. Like, I'll meet up with her, or I'll talk to her, or I'll get to know her at some later time. Like, I can't right now. Mm-hmm. That's been the only time, but it wasn't due to the fact that, like, oh, I'm so sick of this, or, you know, that was it.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
No one. That's why recently Susie posted a picture with Alberto, and I was just like, wait, what? I've never seen this guy like before. Like,
he looks like Groot,
and he's super young. And I'm just like, wait, what? Your brother? And I'm just like,
he looks like Groot from the Marvel movies. Like, he's just really long legs, skinny. Like, he's cute. But I remember when I saw his picture for the first time on Facebook, I was like, he's a freaking Castro.
He's a Castro. That's crazy.
Castro. Yeah, he's a freaking Castro for sure.
Oh man. All right, guys. So we're running out of time. We don't want to go over an hour.
So thank you for hearing me oversharing about my life.
No, it's really cool to see that because, like, I was really shocked. Like, because I mean, you see your life and you feel like that's just how everyone is, you know, like,
yeah.
And then you're just like.
And then you meet me.
Yeah, and then like you're super open to people that just come in your life and like because you understand where your family stands, so it's pretty interesting to be. So it makes me focus. Like, am I not seeing everything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like maybe I should open my eyes up a little bit more too, be more accepting and stuff like that too. So, but yeah. So if you want to follow the family roots and trees and ties, where could they follow you, Susie?
Pinkgreen31 on Instagram. Please let me know if I should change my name to be more professional or if we're cool. Susie Castro on Facebook. So many people are on Facebook still.
Yeah. It's not going away. Facebook is definitely not going to go away.
Susanna Fanafo on TikTok.
You can find me on Instagram, George the Content Creator, and Facebook you could do George Perez. I'm being a little bit more active on Facebook. So
there's so many people on Facebook, it's nuts.
But on Instagram, that's where you can find me the most. And then for sure, follow us on all the podcasts. On Apple,
I know, right?
We're on Spotify, we're on all that, and on Instagram too, the I Know Right podcast. So we love you guys. Check you later. Peace.
Bye.